Adam, you've had a chance to draw breath. What a game and a great result.
Huge result for us. I'm so proud of the players. Let's have it right. They're a top team. They are a top team. They absolutely battered us at their place on New Year's Eve, and we knew that they'd be coming here today to win because they're trying to win the title. So we knew that there'd come a stage in the game where they were going to probably throw the kitchen sink at us to try and win the game. So it needed to be a really disciplined, organised performance by us. We needed to be more physical, which is why we changed system. We wanted to try and win the game to 0, play for moments in the game. I thought we started very, very well. Thought we were the better team first 20-25 minutes. Scored a great goal. They didn't really have anything that I can remember first half as of note. I think they had 1 or 2 moments in the second half. Probably Roberts where he's flashed it wide of the post. The one at the end that they've put over the bar. But I thought the best other chance in the game was us with Warby when he's gone through, and I'd put my house on him to score, and I'm gutted for him that he didn't. But I thought the amount of intelligence he played with for what we asked him to do today, I can forgive him that. But just a super performance by individuals who were asked to do specific roles to try and nullify their threats, and just the way that I thought everybody stuck together in that last 10-15 minutes where they put all the big lads up there. They brought lads off the bench. They threw everything into the box. Diagonals, got runners off the lads. Set plays, putting it in the box, and just as I said, super proud of how the lads just stuck to the task, and that is a massive win for us.
And Gold continuing his rich vein of form, but as you say, the build up, the little passing, and then the ball into him as well. Everything was perfect.
Yeah, it was. It was an area we felt we could have a little bit of joy, to be honest. Down our right there, left. Was getting runners in behind Denton down the side of Evans, with Hamami and playing Keane up there, because we flipped Dylan over to the other side to handle probably the best player in the league, Roberts. And I thought he came into the game more in the second half because, to be fair, they changed shape. They put him central. But I thought, yeah, the way that we worked, we had quite a bit of joy, I thought, in that first 20-25 minutes down this right-hand side. So it was no surprise to me that the goal came from there, but it was great cross, super header by Gold, and pleased for him because he's playing really well at the moment, and long may that continue for us.
You had to be resolute at times. Jonah with a few fingertip saves, but defensively as well, it was just solid.
Yeah, but we have been in the main. Like I think we had the 5th or 6th best defensive record in the league. The last time I looked was probably a couple of weeks ago now, and we've only conceded the one against Farza since then. So yeah, we have that ability to change system, play different styles, adapt if we need to. Sometimes you've got to accept when the opposition have got, they're a good team, and you've got to be pragmatic sometimes in your way that you approach games. But for that, you need players that understand why you may go in a different way. And more importantly, lads who are prepared to implement what you ask of them. And I thought the lads did it today pretty much to perfection. And I thought they got the rewards.
The team selection showed what you just said about a change in approach, and it worked.
It did, yeah. I mean, Ross Crane he does not deserve to not start this game. And you play with 2 strikers, and Johnny Margetts probably deserves to start the game. But you've got to make decisions as a manager, and you've got to trust what you think and go with your gut. And I felt we got it right today. You hear numpties from the stand shouting, get Ross Crane on, and I'm thinking, well, 1-0 up here against Scunthorpe, who've got over £1 million budget at the top of the league, and they've brought 800-900 fans down. Calm down, just let us do what we do. The lads on the pitch are doing a good job, and today they've got the job done, and I'm really pleased for them.
I mean, it was a massive 3 games coming into this against the leaders, and then another playoff chaser. Now to Needham, which is a totally different prospect, isn't it?
It is, and it's a miles bigger game for us than this game is today. Because, with all due respect to that game on Monday, there's not going to be 2,500 there. It's not going to be on the zone, and you're not playing top of the league. So the lads have got to make sure that they apply themselves, and they will do, the same as we did today, because don't really like to talk about others too much, but I know coming into this game, every other manager, Buxton, Chorley, Curzon, Chester, Spennymoor, can't remember, Hereford, they'll have all probably earmarked this as a game we'd lose, and we've won, and that's psychologically massive for us. I think it damages maybe what others were hoping might happen. But the message to the players after the game was loud and clear that, well done, we've done well, it's a massive win for us, but Monday's an even bigger game, because I believe if we go there and win on Monday, I think we're in the playoffs. So, it's a great opportunity for us, but we will not be taking that game any lighter than we have any other game, particularly this one today, because we know it's going to be super tough.
I know it's a level playing field, but that was some effort today, and some of those players were on the feet, weren't they?
Yeah, they were. Lads there at the end running on empty. Effort levels phenomenal. We knew that they'd have quite a lot of the ball, and we'd have to sit in a shape and play first balls, second balls, and physically it was going to be a big effort. Not just physically, but mentally as well. The level of concentration you need when you're playing against top teams. So they will be tired, but they'll be tired after every game on a Saturday. They'll be off tomorrow. We'll be in on Sunday, and we might have to make 2 or 3 changes just to freshen it up. But we've got some really good players on the bench, and we've got 2 or 3 really good players not even on the squad in the squad. So if we need to freshen it up on Monday, then we will do. But we'll just assess how everybody is on Sunday.
You sort of think playing for home advantage in the playoffs as you get there as well. That's going to be vital, given the great crowd, enormous noise all day.
That's the best I've seen the Walks, and you got to give credit to Scunthorpe as well, because they're a massive football club, and them and their supporters have played their part. But for us to have that number of supporters in the ground today was outstanding, and they were cheering every clearance, every header, every block. It was. We need to keep working hard as a football club and building as a football club to ensure that we have more days like this today.
The other thing, I think this season, it seemed that it's gone in cycles. Every team's had a go and they've had their time at the top. And I think one team fell about 4 places at one stage today. It's getting the timing right, isn't it? And do you feel that you've got the momentum on your side? Certainly after this week.
I feel like we're in good form. I think we've lost the Spennymoor game in 9. I think if memory serves me right. So we're in good form. We're looking pretty solid and not conceding many goals. Still need to score more, but yeah, we are in decent form, and obviously having that form and momentum, I think for any team that's trying to get in the playoffs could be important. But we just, to be honest, we've been there and thereabouts all season. I said it in my programme, I would have loved us to have been in the fight for the title with them today, because what a game it would have been then. But we're just a little bit behind the likes of them at the minute, and that's just because we've had less time as a group, But the playoffs is the only route. We're desperately trying to get in there, and we'll be giving everything on Monday to ensure that we do.
I was going to say, is that the message? Get it job done today, not wait till next Saturday.
Yeah, we just go into each and every game trying to win it. Like it don't bother me whether we're playing Needham Market away or Scunthorpe at home. We might play slightly differently and going into different games for different reasons, but we try and win every game. So the next game's Needham. We're going there to try and win it. We know the consequences if we do win, but we're also aware of the consequences if we don't. It means that you've got all the pressure then on probably having to win here again on the last day of the season. Which if we don't get the job done on Monday, then it is what it is. I think on our day we're capable of beating anybody in this division. We got beat away at Scunny, we beat them at home. We rolled Kidderminster over. Now we were top here at home. We got rolled over at their place. We took 4 points off Brackley. The teams at the top, there's not a great deal of difference between them and us. Yeah. But we just had a couple of spells in the season where we lost 2 or 3 games in a row, and they haven't. And that's ultimately why we're trying to get in the playoffs and not competing for that top spot. But it is what it is, and we just keep going.
That back line is quite tremendous today. I mean, Crow as well. Probably the best game I've seen him play.
Yeah.
But Kean coming in and the 3 in the middle, just awesome.
Yeah. I mean, they've been superb all season. To be fair, I mean, Dylan. I knew. Well, pretty much named the team on Tuesday. I knew exactly how we needed to go into this game, and I knew that it was a game for Dylan to probably play up against Roberts because he's done it before. Roberts is such a good player. He's done it before, and he's done it well before. But he's clever. Freddie's a little bit more up and at him, and I just felt we needed that little bit more cuteness today with Dylan. So that's why we played him there. Kean's been out the team through no fault of his own, other than Dylan playing well and obviously him being away with Gibraltar. But he came back in. I thought he was great at right wing back, and then the 3 centre halves. I mean, you've got your club captain there, who Tom and Macca have kept out the team. You know, when we've played a 4. But JC just turns in every day. Is the heartbeat of the training ground every day. Sets standards every day. Never moans, even though he wants to play football every second of every day because he loves the game. Just gets on with it, and whenever we put him in, he very, very rarely lets us down. So I'm just so pleased for all of them. You know, the protection from the midfield lads in front, the work rate of Gregg, Cody, Josh Amami, the lads at the top of the pitch, and then Jonah. It's just a real team effort today.
You say you're a little bit behind Scunthorpe, but leaps and bounds from last season. You know, when you look at the bigger picture, haven't you? The team has really come on from last season. How you finished, they've just built and built.
Yeah, I do feel like we're getting stronger all the time. I've said it so many times throughout the season. You know, the likes of Scunthorpe. I know obviously they had a different manager last season, and Andy's done a really good job with them this season. But it's pretty much the same squad. You've got the likes of Brackley. Gavin's been there for a while. You know, the players have been there together for a while. You've obviously got Kidderminster, where Phil Brown's been for a while. And I know they came down, but they kept a lot together. They've had a good season. Same with Chorley. You know, there's a theme there where time and that familiarity of managers and having groups of players, and the groups of players knowing one another's games and knowing what's required to perform well regularly at this level. You know, I think that's an advantage that all those clubs have probably got over us, because we had to rip it up pretty much after last season, and we've recruited, I feel, well in the summer. So we're probably a season or 2 or even 3 seasons behind a lot of these clubs, and for us to be where we are, I mean, I said it in my programme notes last season, we finished 41 points behind Tamworth, who won the league, and we finished 33 points behind Scunthorpe, and I think after going into today, we were 11 points off the top, and obviously now we're 8 points behind Scunthorpe with 2 games to play. So our progress is phenomenal, and you know, people might give me pelters for that, because you know, we're full time, and people always expect and say that the full time clubs should be the ones right at the top of the league. But you know, we've had to rebuild this football club, and we have done in 18 months, and hopefully now we can just get another 3 points, get in the playoffs, and on any given day against any team, I feel we've got a real good chance.
I remember you standing here Tuesday night last season and said Scunthorpe, that win against Scunthorpe, 3-1 win, was probably the best performance since you'd come to the club. How does today's rate?
Similar, because that were hard work as well. Yeah, I feel like in recent weeks we've played some really good teams, and we've had to be adaptable, and we've gone in with really clear plans on how we're going to play. And to be fair, you can only put a plan together. You need your players to execute, and they have been doing. And that's exactly how this game was today. You know, we had a plan. The lads were well well organised in what we wanted them to do, and they're the ones that deserve all the credit, because they're the ones that go out on the pitch and they put everything into getting this club 3 points. So it's probably the best day that I remember here at the Walks. You know, to have that many fans in here making that noise. You know, the whole place was buzzing. You sat having a coffee this morning, you see people walking through the town with shirts on, scarves on. You know, we are on an upward trajectory, but we've got another massive game on Monday. We'd be great if a lot of people from the town make the trip up there, jump on the train, have a few sherries, and come and support the team.